Prepare to be captivated by the business story of the week, hosted by me, Shaheen Shan. Join us on a journey through the twists and turns of entrepreneurial triumphs and setbacks. Immerse yourself in the narrative and witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. This is Business Story of the Week.
And welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Business Story of the Week. I am your co-host, Joshua, where every day, you know how it is, we delve into anything business, anything entrepreneurial, anything innovative. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a trailblazer in innovative healthcare, known for his extensive experience at Boston Neuropain and Psych Centers. Dr. Mike stands at the forefront of transformative healthcare as the medical director at Clary Gen Z Health. Dr. Mike Van Thielen will introduce a groundbreaking pill, free of harmful effects yet comparable to Adderall. We need to get into this, right? We also will delve into his best-selling book, Access to Success, and his journey in redefining health and wellness. Dr. Mike, thank you for being with us here today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Joshua.
Fantastic. Dr. Mike, I always like to start with the beginning. I always do with these things, before we really get into deep down into it. Where did the journey begin? What is the story of Dr. Mike? Anything that happened in your childhood, perhaps anything experienced throughout your life, what led you into developing or going to healthcare, really? What is the story of Dr. Mike?
Well, grew up in Belgium, believe it or not. And my mom worked hard to provide for me and my brother. Went to school. I loved sports, so I was in physical education. I did that at the University of Brussels, but what are you going to end up doing with that degree? Not that much. So I decided to do physical therapy after, and then moved to the United States in 1997. Did physical therapy in Florida, and then got exposed to more natural medicine practices and therapies. So I went back to school, got my Doctor of Oriental Medicine, licensed in acupuncture, board certified in Chinese herbs, homeopathy, etc. But after another 1,000 patients, I got a little bit frustrated because these therapies are indeed less invasive than conventional medicine, meaning drugs, injections, and surgeries. But I really didn't get the long-lasting results I was hoping for either.
Yes.
So I decided I need to go back to basics. And I decided to get my PhD in holistic nutrition, but I also started looking at Mother Nature and kind of studied what do animals in the wild do, because Mother Nature has the truths about health. And by combining those two, I became very comfortable and confident in helping anybody regain control of their health, optimize their health, or today I'm considered a renowned biohacker expert. So that means objectively reverse your biological age and become superhuman. And so, over the decades, I've progressed from anti-aging into regenerative medicine and stem cells, and now into the latest terminology, which is biohacking. So that's how my journey in a quick minute brought me here.
That's just fantastic. What a way to put it all together, Dr. Mike. Of course, you do have a storied journey all the way from here. I would not have been able to tell that you are from Belgium because of the accent. So thank you for letting us know. But first, we need to talk about again, I like journeys, I like, backgrounds, I like all these stuff. Before we get into what you really do today, we need to talk a little bit about your record-breaking swimming record success, your career. Tell us about that. Like your background as a record-breaking swimmer. I feel like it showcases an excellent or a commitment to excellence. But more than that, it's like a resiliency, right? You come from Belgium, you migrated to the US, and you expanded, you got into healthcare. How did your resiliency and your background as a record-breaking swimmer, how did that athletic journey influence your approach to healthcare and, innovating the space?
Sure, a lot, right? Because when you're competitive, you always want to win, and every
Yes.
competitor likes to find an advantage, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes,
why
of
they're
course.
doping lists, right? But there are many things that you can do as an athlete, but also as an entrepreneur or a
Mm-hmm.
professional. It doesn't need to be an athlete
Mm-hmm.
to optimize yourself. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, to upgrade your body, your mind, and your life. So it's not always about working or training harder. Many times
Mm-hmm.
it's about being smarter and looking at
Yes.
your own body and optimizing and upgrading it. And that's really what biohacking is. Biohacking
Mm-hmm.
really means upgrading the body and the mind. And from a health point of view, it means objectively reversing your biological age. And so that's what I do with my clients and my mentees and myself. So no matter what you do or who you are, if you optimize your body and your mind, you're obviously gonna perform better.
That's
And
fantastic.
so today I teach people a 5-step framework where you can be the best you can be, maximize performance, but through self optimization.
That is fantastic. Being the best you can be through biohacking. Dr. Mike, I wanted to ask this because I watched your video on TEDx, one of your TEDx videos, and I love one of your lines where you said, our breath doesn't have this magical property, right? I wish I could say that in your accent just now, but I don't want to
A
butcher it.
little
Our breath
sexier.
doesn't have a magical property, but you mentioned that we've always had this in our lives. We've always had this from our birth and up until, we die. Um, and you talk about a reset breath so you can focus and engage with people more, you're there more, you're in present more. And I feel like this sounds a lot like biohacking. Is that part of what you teach? Is that part um of this whole kind of holistic approach that you do? And really, before we start getting into the pill that that helps us focus more, how do you feel? How tell us a bit about how the breath plays into this, apart from using your supplementations or such or
Yeah.
pills.
No, when it comes to optimal health, when it comes to biohacking and be the
Mm-hmm.
best you can be, there always needs to be foundations in place.
Yes.
And when it comes to biohacking itself, in my new book, I talk about 7 foundations to biohacking. Because
Wow.
when people think about biohacking, they think they need to purchase expensive technology.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
think they need to buy a hyperbaric chamber to use at home.
Mm-hmm.
They think they need a cold bath, even though your shower is cold enough. They think you need to buy $100,000 whole body photo biomodulation equipment, etc. And those things may work and they are
Mm-hmm.
great, but
Mm-hmm.
you won't respond as good to those if you don't have the foundation in place. So all of
Precisely.
us need to start with foundations.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
one of the foundations is oxygen, right? We know the
Oxygen.
air has 21% oxygen, but unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you asked me, unfortunately, people don't know how to breathe. Because the majority of us breathe through the mouth, and the mouth
Mm-hmm.
is designed to eat and to talk.
Yeah.
The nose is designed to
Yes.
breathe.
Yes.
That's why we have a nose.
Yes.
And so, a normal breath, and many of your listeners may be surprised, a normal breath should be 5 counts in through the nose and 6 counts out through the nose. The nose is a narrow passageway. So if we breathe in through the nose, the oxygen is going to push much, much deeper into the lungs, into our
Mm-hmm.
tissues, into our
Mm-hmm.
cells.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in our nasal cavity right there, we
Oh.
have what we call nitric oxide. So when we breathe in through the nose, it will take that nitric oxide, which is a dilator, and again, push that oxygen much deeper into the tissues. So the nose is designed to breathe in and out. Now, if we breathe into the nose 5 counts and out 6 counts, we only take an average of 5.5 breaths per minute. Right now, people that breathe to the mouth probably inhale between 16 and 22 times. So if you learn how to breathe properly in and out through the nose, you increase the efficiency of your body and your oxygen by 300%. Now, why is that
Wow.
important? Of course, we need oxygen to live, but at the same time, oxygen causes us to age. It's called oxidative stress,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we want to minimize that and we want to increase that efficiency by 300%. So learning to breathe properly could be one of the top biohacks anybody should learn. And it doesn't cost anything. You go on YouTube, or the best app that anybody can download today is called The Breath Source. You can download from your smart device. It's free to start because it has all the masters in breathwork from the whole wide world on the same app. So that's where you really learn from the best. So it doesn't cost anything to learn how to breathe properly.
That is fantastic. We're already getting so much gold from this right now. I have always been a big proponent of breathing first and breathing through your nose. You know, I've always been a big on that. And I always try to tell my friends, as many, you know, athletes or physically active friends that I have, and I love that you explained it in such a very grounded, scientific way, instead of like a kind of woo-woo hocus pocus that it goes into your, I mean, of that may or may not have validity, but what we know and what is factual and what we can be sure of is that I had never heard of that before, and I love that it increases 300%, 300% efficiency. So we're missing out by just not breathing properly. Dr. Mike, I want to get into your book, because your book is called Access to Success, and I feel like,
We changed the title last minute. It's called the IZOD Method,
oh,
Unleash Your Superpower. So this is the new book, yeah.
all right, the IZOD method, the IZOD method. Fantastic. Wow, now you need to talk about that, because I was going to say, like, it feels like breathing is the access to success, but what is the IZOD method?
Well, this is my book number 8, and my first 7 books are all health related. But
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, I really started talking to many people because a colleague doctor of mine asked me to help out with pre-screening potential patients for medical marijuana. And so I ended up talking to at least 100 people per week with anxiety, depression, ADHD, worry, fear, lots of stresses and those types of things. And so I felt that there was many underlying causes because yes, there's drugs, and yes, there's therapy for those mental illnesses, but most of those people didn't have a purpose in life. And so in my new book, which is all about biohacking and the foundations and reversing your biological age, I also decided to really talk about foundations, such as finding your purpose in life, having a very strategic plan for your goals and your dreams. And so this book is a little bit more than just health and biohacking, but obviously it's a big book, and all the foundations of biohacking are in there. But I talk about productivity and focus and getting in control of your life, because many people, they have these daily stresses because they don't know what tomorrow brings, or next week, or next month brings, because they're not organized and they're living in chaos. And obviously those feelings of fear and worry and uncertainty, those feelings cause what? Anxiety, depression, PTSD.
Precisely.
And so many times it's not drugs that we need to take, it's getting our life organized, creating control, because control creates clarity. And when we're clear about things, when we know what tomorrow brings, next week, next month, next year, then there's no need to worry or stress. And so all those mental conditions and illnesses, they kind of disappear once we teach people how to regain control of their life.
Wow, what a way to put it all together. Talk to us a little bit. What does the IZOD mean? What does IZOD mean?
Yes, IZOD means in the zone, on demand.
In the
So that's
zone,
flow
on
state, that's
demand.
being in the present moment. And so most people have experienced that, once or twice in their lifetime, but I think it was by chance, like, oh my God, I won this race, or oh my God, I killed the presentation at school, or oh my God, I played this piece of music flawless. And we think it's by chance, and we think that getting in the zone or being in the zone is just for athletes, but it's wrong. It's a skill that we all can master so that we can increase that productivity, being focused, being in the zone, and being the best that we can be. So it's about unleashing your superpowers and mastering the skills to be highly productive and to reach your goals and dreams. And that's why it's called the IZOD method. It's how to get into the zone on demand and unleash those superpowers.
That's fantastic. I'm already sold. I want a copy right now. I am going to encourage our audience's listeners. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what would go grab a copy for yourselves. Dr. Mike, I'd like to get into this groundbreaking pill of yours. You mentioned, or at least it's mentioned here, that it is comparable to Adderall. It's what I know, of course, about Adderall, the Adderall isn't available here where we are. It's mostly Ritalin. What I know is Adderall is about at least 2 times stronger than Ritalin, lasts longer in the body. Ritalin acts a little bit faster, but they're pretty much the same. They're like they act in similar ways. Well, this groundbreaking pill of yours says that it's it's comparable to its effects, but without the side effects, without the harmful effects, because there's there is an addicted tendency to Adderall. That's number one side effect. And also there are, perhaps, it could also cause anxiety depending on the case, depending on the person. So what is this new groundbreaking pill? Tell us a little bit more about that. And what can the audiences get out of it?
Yeah. Well, again, I was talking to those people during COVID with anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I find the common denominator, there was no purpose in life, but many of them, they were on pills like Wellbutrin, Ritalin, and Adderall. And so those are harmful drugs because they're not only addictive, but at the same time, they could cause a serious adverse reaction, increased heart rate, increased risk for heart disease, psychosis, seizures, and the list goes on. So it's not something that I recommend or can recommend to
Yes.
my clients. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
pro drugs. So
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a natural alternative. And these drugs are called smart drugs. And the natural alternatives to smart drugs are called nootropics.
Nootropics.
So, ginkgo biloba, bacopa, and
Mm-hmm.
there's hundreds of herbs and plant extracts out there that have similar effects, meaning they increase your focus, and they increase your productivity, right? And that's why they're prescribed to people with ADHD, people who procrastinate, people that can't get the job done, etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I started looking into those nootropics, and then I came across a ingredient called biocitroid, which
Mm-hmm.
basically is a patented ingredient. But what it is, it's a terpene from a specific type of blood orange or citrus fruit, if you will, from the
Mm-hmm.
southeast region of Asia. And at 30 milligrams or higher, this biocitroid is able to cross the blood-brain barrier. What
Mm-hmm.
that means, it has an effect in about 30 minutes versus many supplements take weeks and weeks to build up in your system before you may or may not experience a benefit. And so
Mm-hmm.
once I came across it, I contacted the people and started working with them to use that ingredient and make a product. And so we added 3 other ingredients to work synergistically with the biocitroid. We added L-tyrosine, which is an amino acid which has proven benefits when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
focus and memory. We added phenylalanine, which is a neuroagent, which also helps with short-term memory, photographic memory,
Wow.
focus, and those types of things. And then last but not least, we added phosphatidylate, because
Mm-hmm.
phosphatidylate is one of those ingredients that has been proven by scientific research to stimulate NGF, and NGF is nerve growth factor in the
Nerve
brain.
growth.
It
Yes.
stimulates the formation of new brain cells. It increases the neurotransmitters and the electrical signals in your brain. So by combining those 4 natural ingredients, we come up with a product that also helps with focus without any of the side effects, without any jittery effects, without any possibility of getting addicted to it. And so not necessarily works for everybody, but I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, just try it. Your listeners actually could try it for free if they go to trysmartpill.com. You can get a
Mm-hmm.
free sample if you go to trysmartpill.com. But what it does, it basically balances and optimizes our 5 intelligence hormones, which are dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and
Yes.
acetylcholine. Because when
Yes.
those 5 hormones are balanced and optimal, that's when we're in the zone. That's when we are in flow state. And as you know, most of
Yes.
us today are in a dopamine overload because we eat bad sugary foods and energy drinks and coffee, which gives a dopamine release. And also, most of us are addicted to social media, spend too
Yes.
much time on social media, which is a dopamine overload. And that causes an imbalance of those hormones,
Yes.
which causes brain fog, lack of focus, lack of attention,
Mm-hmm.
procrastination, etc. So what I need to do with most of my clients is educate them about a dopamine overload and upgrade their
Right.
diet, and at the
Right.
same time regain control over social media so we can
Mm-hmm.
balance those hormones. And
Mm-hmm.
this pill called Focus Plus kind of helps balancing and optimizing those 5 intelligence hormones.
Focus Plus, and you can go on to trysmartpill.com where
Correct. Get a free sample.
audiences and listeners get on that, get on there, give it a try. Focus Plus Focus Plus pill. Uh, the way you explained that just now, Dr. Mike, is very, it gives optimism, so to speak. And all of that is accurate in the sense that how we're not being able, how we're failing constantly to manage our dopamine, our focus, and the movement right now of nootropics, is actually very, even much more, you know, promising, so to speak. Dr. Mike, tell us a little bit, before we wrap this up, kind of like in a ribbon. I want to make sure that I ask these questions when it comes to. I want a small story. Give the audience a little story about an experience, a Focus Plus. What happened? Anything that case, any sense of case that stands out to you. Let us know, and a difference, an effect, something that stands out to you, a story of one of your patients and one of your users, perhaps,
Oh yeah,
and how it
there's
happened.
yeah. Yeah, there's many patients I helped with it because again, I had them try it for free, and for some of them it worked, and for others
Mm-hmm.
it really didn't do much. It
Mm-hmm.
may not be as strong as Adderall, but it still helps you getting into focus and getting some work done without any of the side effects. So
Mm-hmm.
especially people with ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
it is really a natural alternative that you can take. And
Mm-hmm.
many people were able to get off Adderall and Wellbutrin and other drugs. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
major victory. But
Yes.
we also gave it to many athletes, NFL players, heavyweight boxing champions,
Wow.
MMA fighters,
Mm-hmm.
because it gives you that little edge. It gets you into that zone a little bit
Mm-hmm.
easier. And when
Mm-hmm.
athletes are into the zone, and again, it could be entrepreneurs, could be performers,
Mm-hmm.
artists, when you get into the zone, you just produce much better. You have the end in mind, you anticipate a little bit faster, you're not distracted by anything, and so you perform better. So it's not just for people with mental conditions and illnesses. It could be for anybody who wants to get the job done quicker and more effective and be focused and not distracted, or the top athlete that just wants to get that little unfair advantage and make sure they're in the zone before their performance.
Just a little bit, but it takes you over the edge, takes you over that, over your opponent. Dr. Mike, of course, we trust you on this. You are a record-breaking swimmer after all, and you have all the expertise, the extensive expertise in this healthcare. You are truly innovating the space. But more than that, I feel this sense of, this true sense of genuine care, and that you really want, people to approach this in a healthy, overall well-being, not just their health, not just physically. And I thank you for that, Dr. Mike. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for gracing us with your presence today. Dr. Mike, I want to give you this opportunity. Let the audience know, let the listeners know, where can we find you, where can we connect with you, and anything else that you'd like to let us know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I try to keep my dopamine in check, so I'm not a big social media guy, so you can't
Of
really find
course.
me there, even though I have the accounts. But the best place to find me is my website, biohackingunlimited.com, because
Mm-hmm.
all my books are there.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Costa Rica VIP retreat coming up, a biohacking retreat. You can schedule a 20-minute free call with me where
Wow.
we can discuss on how I can help you.
Wow.
We have now coming up, it's called the page you should check out is called the Limitless Lab. And the
Wow.
Limitless Lab basically is a 12-week program, virtual program, so people
Mm-hmm.
all over the world can join a 12-week virtual program where we basically teach you in 5 steps on how to maximize your performance through self-optimization. So
Wow.
everything you heard today, but a lot more, we go step by step through the program. So on that page on my website, Limitless Lab, you can find all the details for those who are interested. So that's kind of it, biohackingunlimited.com.
Fantastic. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. We have ourselves I'd like to think you are some sort of superhero, some sort of superhuman. I mean, the IZOD method kind of truly explains that, and everything else that you shared with us today. Dr. Mike, thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yes, thank you for your time. It's a team effort to get the word out there and help people. So thank you for your time.
Fantastic, guys.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.